Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Amber and you're watching Crime Uncovered. Today's case is on the disappearance of Madeleine McCann. Madeleine McCann disappeared on May the 3rd, 2007 from her apartment in Praia de Luz in Portugal. Madeleine was on a UK holiday with her family and friends. This included her mother and her father, Kate and Gary McCann, and her 2-year-old twin sisters. Altogether, there were 7 adults and 8 children along with Madeleine and her family. Madeleine Beth McCann was born 12th of May 2003 in Leicester, England. Madeleine is described to have blonde hair, bluey-greeny eyes, a small brown spot on her calf, and a distinctive dark strip on her iris of her right eye. Madeleine was only 3 when she went missing in 2007. The McCanns arrived in Portugal on Saturday the 28th of April 2007. The McCanns' 2-bedroom apartment was on the bottom floor of the 5th apartment block, known as the Waterside Village. Matthew and Rachel Oldfield were next door in the apartment 5B. Jane Tanner, Russell O'Brien were in the apartment 5D, and the Paynes and Diane Webster were on the first floor. The McCanns' 5A apartment was accessible through 2 doors. The first door was the glass sliding patio door, which looked out into the resort and the tapas restaurant where all the family members were staying for dinner that night. The other door is accessible straight to the public via the door on the public street. This door has a small gate and a set of steps leading straight into the living room of the McCanns' apartment. The children slept in a bedroom next to the front door, which was the door the McCanns kept locked, which entered the resort. The sliding door which led to the staircase on the public street could only be locked from the inside, so the McCanns left this unlocked as this was a way they could check on the children during dinner. So Thursday morning, the 3rd of May, was the day that Madeleine McCann went missing, and to the McCanns, the day started off as any ordinary day. The first weird thing of the case was when Madeleine looked at her mum during breakfast and said, "Why didn't you come when we cried last night?" This is assumed that she was meaning her and her sisters. The mother at the time brushed it off as she didn't think anything of it. The children spent the rest of their morning at the kids' club until they met back for lunch later on in the day. Later that afternoon, they all went down to the pool together where Kate, Madeleine's mother, took the last photo of Madeleine at 2:29 p.m. After the swim, the kids returned to the kids' club while Madeleine's father had a tennis lesson. Kate had all the children in bed by 7 p.m. so they could easily leave for their reservation for dinner at 8:30 to the tapas restaurant. The restaurant to the apartment was 55 metres away, using the sliding door on the side of the apartment via the public street. The families had booked the same table and time for 8:30 p.m. for the last 4 nights of their stay so they could easily see the apartments and their children to have a peace of mind. The McCanns and their friends took turns to check on the children every half an hour or so. Madeleine's father carried out the first check at around 9:05 p.m. He claims all children were asleep, except he did find it a little unusual as he did remember leaving his children's door slightly ajar, and when he returned to have a check on them, the door was wide open. He pulled it nearly closed again and then left to return to the tapas restaurant. From here on out, things don't tend to add up and get extremely confusing. At 9:15 p.m, Jane Tanner reported seeing a man heading east away from the McCann's apartment carrying a girl. She claimed the child was wearing light pink pyjamas with a floral pattern and cuffs on the legs, similar to Madeleine's pyjamas her mother put her to bed in. Tanner described the man as white with dark hair, around 5'7" tall, and of the European or Mediterranean appearance, 35 to 40 years old, and wearing a gold or beige trousers with a dark leather jacket. This sighting became important as it gave the detectives an average time of Madeleine's disappearance. However, this sighting doesn't make much sense, as if Madeleine's father went to do a check at 9:05 p.m. on the children and claimed they were all there, and Tanner reported seeing a man at 9:15, this only leaves a 10-minute window for a man to take Madeleine from the apartment. Tanner reports she left the restaurant to check on her own children and walked straight past Madeleine's father, who was having a conversation with a British holidaymaker. Except both men claim they did not see Tanner, which is odd as the walkway was quite small and she would have had to walk past them to check on her own children. Another sighting that happened later on the night is known as the Smith sighting. Martin and Mary Smith reported seeing a man carrying a young child over his shoulders with the same description as Madeleine away from the apartment and toward the beach. They claimed spotting this man at around 10 p.m. at night. The man was in his mid-30s, 5'7" to 5'9" tall, slim to normal build, with short brown hair, wearing cream or beige trousers, which to me oddly sounds very similar to the man that the Tanners described, except at two very different times. At 9:30 p.m, Madeleine's mother Kate had intended to go and check on their children, but Matthew Oldfield offered to, as he was going to check on his own anyway. During his check, he noticed that Madeleine and her sister's bedroom door was open, but after hearing no noise, he assumed that everything was okay and returned to the Tapas restaurant for dinner. He, however, did not go far enough into the apartment to see Madeleine in bed himself, so he cannot confirm that she was in there during that time period. At 10 p.m, Madeleine's mother went to check on her children, which was when Madeleine was first found to be missing. Kate entered through the sliding door via the public street, which she kept unlocked, and during this she noticed that Madeleine's door was still wide open, but so was her window. 10 minutes later, around 10:20, Madeleine's father sent Matthew Oldfield to the resort's front desk to ask them to call the police. At 10:30, the resort activated their missing child search, which continued until 4:30 a.m. This included 60 staff members and guests searching for Madeleine and calling out her name, as at this time it was believed that she probably most likely got up and wandered off herself. Now onto the theories. I'm not going to go too much into the police investigation during this video, however it is noted that it was not done correctly whatsoever and a lot of mistakes were made during the golden period of Madeleine's disappearance. However, if you are interested in how the police conducted the investigation, then I will leave some links below so you can do some of your own research. The first theory regarding Madeleine's disappearance is that a burglary could have gone wrong. It is believed that if a burglar entered the apartment and Madeleine was awake, he could have taken her dead or alive to stop any investigation into him. However, this doesn't sit very well with me, as if a robber had entered an apartment to steal and noticed that a 3-year-old had seen him, I wouldn't think that he would be very fazed. I think that he could have easily taken her back to her bedroom if she got up and walked out into the living room where he was and put her back to bed as if nothing had happened, or just fled the scene and shut the door behind him, as the glass doors itself was very heavy to open. I just think that it's very unlikely that if he got caught he would be threatened, as she was only 3. A 3-year-old can't describe a man's appearance and remember vividly what was happening, or even comprehend the fact that he was in the apartment when he shouldn't have been. The second theory is that she may have been taken by a local pedophile. This theory involves that Madeleine was a victim of a pedophile who snatched her and later killed her, disposing of her body by burying her, hiding her, or even dumping her body in the sea. This theory doesn't have much evidence behind it other than the fact that guests were noticing men lurking around the apartment days before Madeleine's disappearance. The third theory is that Madeleine could have been taken for a couple that had no children themselves. This theory, however, does have holes in it. As such, if a kidnapper was taking a child for a family who had no children, they could have taken either one of the twins, who were much younger and only 2. If they had have taken one of the twin siblings, they would have been a lot less likely to wake up and cause a scene. They would also remember much less, or even possibly nothing, of their childhood before being kidnapped than Madeleine would have, as she was a year older. The fourth theory, which unfortunately I believe the most, is that she could have been snatched due to sex trafficking and taken to North Africa. There have been almost 9,000 supposed sightings of Madeleine since her disappearance in 2007. However, this theory is being questioned as police have said that it is more likely for a male kidnapping a child for sex trafficking would be of an older age and would be around the ages of 13 due to pre-puberty. The fifth theory, which has been ruled out but some people still believe, is that the parents had something to do with Madeleine's disappearance. The first senior detective on this case believed Madeleine died in the apartment and her parents covered up her death and disposed of her body. The couple was ruled out after the case was closed, unsolved 15 months later. They have always denied any part of being involved in Madeleine's disappearance, and the Portuguese police and all investigators involved have found no evidence to suggest otherwise. The last and the most common theory is that Madeleine wandered off on her own. Since Madeleine's disappearance, it has been suggested that Madeleine could have woken up in the middle of the night and wandered to go look for her parents. The only way Madeleine could have exited the apartment was through the sliding door that was left unlocked. If Madeleine had somehow been able to open the really heavy sliding door that went onto the public road, climbed down the set of stairs herself and opened the gate, she could have wandered onto the road and accidentally been hit by a car, or she could have been abducted after leaving her apartment herself. Madeleine's body has never been found. Madeleine herself has never been found. Possibly likely that Madeleine is still out there. If she was abducted and put into sex trafficking, she would now be 13 years of age and could very well still be alive. This case is so bizarre on how she could have gotten up and gone missing her and wandered off herself, or how an intruder could have gotten in, and how Tanner claims she saw someone not even 10 minutes after her dad had just checked on her walking past. But then there's so many different statements made from different people, and this case is very, very confusing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. I will leave some extra links down below where you can do your own research, look into how the police investigated the case and any information the private investigator has come up with. Feel free to leave what you think down below. So thanks for watching this video. If you did like it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye guys!